And we're rolling. This is, it's been such a long time since I've done a demo. I've already confessed this. I'm afraid I might have forgotten how to do it. It's been more than a week, I think, hasn't it? Let's see what the last demo did. Thank you. It's radio silence. That's what you call it when there's a video and nobody's talking and nothing's happening. Maybe I should have done this before I started, huh? Okay, so the keyboard looks sufficient, and all this cosmetic stuff to try to make it look like Wordle, unnamed word game. That's okay. It's automatically going to the next row, just mental notes here. There's no way to back up. There's no way to officially present it as your guess, but all this registers and makes sense as where we were before. Okay, then stop. This this is awful. I can't read this. What is it? Shift Command plus 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 plus. Yes, I did it. I did it. It all comes back to me. I want to make a return key. And return key is going to be different enough from whatever these tiny words are over here. The keyboard is going to be different enough from just your garden variety keyboard key that I'm thinking it's going to make its very own file. I don't remember the words being this small. One of you that was using my computer must have set it to be this small. Hmm? Okay, I blame everybody except for me. I didn't do it. Where am I making a new file? New empty file. Thank you. Well, it's not making it anyway. Huh? Oh, right here? I don't even want that. I want it from a template. Cut. Well, it's still there. We'll see if it breaks stuff. Let's try that again. File, new, and it's file from template, right? And Swift and iOS. Okay, next.
Can you put C++ in the Swift project?
Um,
Like it showed up C++ file on it.
You can, but it's a pain in the rear. I tried that when I was writing my operating system simulator system because it was easier to do some things in C++, and that was almost the entire work on the project, was trying to get C++ and Swift to talk to each other. Save as. What are we making? Enter key, thank you. Oh my goodness. And here I was bragging on the caffeine. And that's going in number 6. I did. Well, I want to get rid of this. It's bugging me. Delete. Yes, I want to delete it. This is print is just tiny. But there, that's okay. Isn't that okay? Okay, the enter key is part of the. Say it before I type it. Yeah. Huh? And it does look a lot like a keyboard key. So I'm going to plagiarize my own work over here. Select. Is it Command C on a Mac? Command C. And I've lost it already. It's not supposed to be up there. Command V. And this isn't a keyboard key. This is the enter key.
Wait a second. You made another file.
I did?
That's really impressive.
I didn't intend to do that. Well, let me click on the one that I meant. I meant to do that one. I'm going to right click on this. I'm just going to send everybody to trash today. Y'all better watch out. Delete. Now then, enter key, you're in the wrong place. I bet it's not going to be as simple as drag and drop, is it? It is! Yeah. I tried something and it worked, and it's Friday the 13th even. Command V. There. I shouldn't have, yeah, I should have jinxed myself now. And I don't want it to be a keyboard key. I want it to be an enter key. Somebody solved this problem, cannot find view and scope. What a clever class I have. How could anyone not like you? This is not an enter key. This is the enter key. It's not a virtual abstract anything. Did I copy the right thing? The keyboard. Okay. Well, those comments are bothering me, so I'm going to get rid of them for now. I'll fix them later. They're not going anywhere. We don't need this, do we? Help me, help me. The body, rounded rectangle, yes. Fill keyboard color, yeah, we'll look at it could look like the other keys. The aspect ratio. That might need some fixing. And since I got rid of the letter data, I guess I need to supply something here. Any suggestions for text? It's a class full of geniuses. You can suggest.
So under the text, they're actually having SF symbols, like an enter symbol, like it's like the arrow with the enter symbol. And I looked it up, it's just called return, like in quotes. Kind of like how when you first create an Xcode project, it gives you the globe. So it's image, system name, return.
Let's go to the gold standard. Photos, not photos. What did I click on? Oh. How about Wordle?
Are you still protesting?
No, I played this morning.
Well, did it repeat this morning?
I don't even know. I don't even look anymore. No, look, it's the word enter. Oh, is this what you were talking about over here?
No, I was talking about there is an enter symbol.
This? Well,
So in that arrow, just like,
software development term. Let's put that. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that thing. Okay. We'll consider that. But let's get a basic version first that doesn't require all the fancy stuff. It looks like we're going to have to do fancy over here, either that or just put in the word backspace. But here's what our general goal is. It doesn't have to look like this exactly. And I'll make this go away. And I'm going to leave it enter for right now. And I'm going to leave everything until we decide collectively that it ain't no good. What's going to happen if I run it now? Crash and burn? Where is it? I know. Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll definitely have to use it for backspace. And we'll see what it looks like on the backspace key. What I'm trying to do is at least get the bare minimum done so that you can legitimately finish increment 8 this weekend. So those are interesting things that we will definitely follow up on. But for now, see what you did? You made me start talking in an endless stream again, and now I'll never get anywhere. How do we make this show up on the keyboard? How do we make it show up in the keyboard on the screen? Content view, which is in one of these things. And where do we put it in the content view? Let's put it in the keyboard. Isn't it a key? And over here, and I've gotten into a comfort zone with this. Some duplicated code for the top row, the middle row, and the bottom row, because they're sufficiently different that trying to do a for each finesse on it would, I don't think, be worth the trouble. because, well, I could give you all the reasons that I believe that, but the bottom line is, I went with it, I'm sticking with it. Where do we put our brand new enter key? Bottom row. So sneak it inside here before the 4H, but 4H. That's a farmer's club, isn't it? Sneak it in before the farmer's club. It's called enter key. Like so. Is everybody okay with that? We'll do this by committee. And Ms. Catco, don't look so dejected. We will do your curvy arrow. It's just right now we go with the dots. Well, fortunately, I think I kept Safari open. I thought I kept Wordle open, but I didn't. That key's not like the other keys. How is it different? It's a bigger key. It's something closer to a square. We'll try a square. And also the font is smaller to make the word fit on there, right? Mental notes. Well, I don't need mental notes. I mean, you guys are my note takers. I've got a whole classroom full of scribes. Enter key, and this is where we want to change stuff. Okay, the width is too skinny. So to unskinny the width, we can change that to 80, right? Can I get an amen on that? And the font size system is too big. So we can half it. Let's see what happens. It's okay with that? This is trial and error. I am now demonstrating trial and error. Oh, well, that didn't work. Huh? If the words that are coming out of your mouth are intended for me, they're going to have to increase in volume dramatically.
The width needs to be a little bigger.
The width needs to be bigger, but look, isn't it supposed to be a square?
We didn't change the rounded rectangle.
The rounded rectangle, that's what's wrong. It fits in this, I bet it's fitting in there, but this aspect ratio, this aggression shall not stand. What's the aspect ratio of a square? Think fast. They want the aspect ratio as a floating point number. And if the width over height are the same, let me rephrase that. If the width and the height are the same, then width over height is 1. In theory, let's see what it looks like in practice. That is almost beautiful. It doesn't do anything when we click. It is, and only on our 7th or 8th try. Okay, is everybody okay with the appearance of it for now, for this moment? I know you're not satisfied with the appearance, but we'll fix that later. Let's see if we can almost get the hang of this without having to lean heavily into AI and all that stuff. What might be the next step to get a functioning enter key now that we have a picture of an enter key on the screen? Make it tappable. Where would we put on tap gesture? What are we actually tapping on here? Inside the Z. What's that? Inside the Z stack. You're losing me here.
Do it where it's called.
Yeah, where it's called.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the keyboard.
Huh?
In the keyboard file.
Well, we're kind of, sort of, almost in the keyboard file. So, what are you trying to tell me here?
Enter key, next line,
Okay,
dot on.
on tap gesture.
Sure.
And then you should probably write something like hello from enter key to make sure it works.
Oh, well, of course that's where I'm going next. And we're in the view. This is the view speaking here. Somebody tapped enter. Right? Let's test our hypothesis. Yay, us. We are trucking. We are moving along. Still didn't do very much yet, and I've got a huge long to-do list that y'all came up with that we have to do for the inner key. So now what? We, what is it? I lost my place. Somebody tapped enter. Tell the model. How do we tell the model? Huh?
Call a function.
Okay, call a function. What function do you want to call?
Be in the view model.
I'm starting more and more, especially with an app like the one we're constructing, that the view model is a filter. It's presenting a very simplified subset of the data and the operations from the model to the view, just on a need-to-know basis. And VM, do we already have a VM that's accessible here? Is it local VM or something? It is. It's local VM. Good catch, Dr. England. Thank you very much. Now, and what function do you want to call?
Enter key. Would it be model key?
Entering, no. Enter key was tapped. Like that? It doesn't like something about this.
I don't think we have an enter key function.
Observed. Wait a second here. We were able to call a function on VM here. Maybe it's just that it doesn't like that this function doesn't exist. Do you suppose it's upset about that? Okay. Help me remember. Enter key was tapped. Enter key was tapped. Enter key was tapped. View model. And we'll just pile it in with all the others down here. And this is not a computed variable. This is a func. Get funky with it. Enter key tapped? Is that what I said? Was tapped. Okay? Is that it? Note everything. Test baby steps, incremental development, even though it's bottom up. Print, this is view model talking. Enter was tapped. Stop and test, okay, if you insist. The view started it. Somebody tapped enter, tell the model. Enter was tapped. I'm going to assume everything else is still working. Pass along to model. And of course I didn't break it there. All I did was alter the print statement. And the model.
Well, your view model still has to return that function. Like, because you have to create a function in the model.
Oh, you mean call it?
Yeah.
Um,
So like return like enter selected.
no, wait a minute. Whoa. Is this a function? If this is a function that's returning a value, then my signature, my first line of the function is insufficient because I didn't specify any return type. What would you return and who would you return it to? Yes, I'm putting you on the spot, Ms. Catco. No, I'm not really. I'm just, that's a rhetorical question anybody can answer.
I mean, it doesn't, it just says return enter selected, but they added it a weird way.
We don't necessarily have, we can do all the logic behind the scene. This doesn't really have to return anything to the view.
The view I generally think of, and whether or not it's healthy, it's my understanding of it, and I have to explain things to myself. The view is a one-way trip. It might very well alert the view model to alert the model that something happened over here. The user touched me. But we don't return things to the view in general, is my understanding of our guiding light design pattern paradigm. Model view, view model.
That's what we did, but you returning stuff.
How is this different? We did return stuff here.
That's a variable.
Choose letter.
That's a value. That's providing a value. That's making data available to the view that it needs to put letters on the keypad and all that stuff on the keyboard. That's a very astute and accurate observation. These things do have return. Actually, I almost took on a side trip detour rabbit hole here. You don't have to put return here.
Oh.
Why not? Do you remember? Do you remember how Dr. England was, well, I was going to make it in past tense. Do you remember how confused and stumbled up Dr. England was at the beginning of the semester because they didn't put return anywhere on these computed variables? If the entire body of the function does nothing but compute the return value, then you don't have to have a return statement. The return is, for my benefit, a computed variable does have to have a function. The computed variable, let's pick on this one. This is a computed variable here. It has to have a function, but wait, there's more. It's an unnamed function, also known as a closure. This closure in curly brackets is a function that computes the value of model's letter options on demand. So when somebody asks the view model, oh, what are the model's letter options? Then it computes that by stealing it off of the model and returning that as if it were its own value. Technically, that's not a return value of a function, even though it is. It's not a return value of a function. It's actually just reporting the value of this computed variable. That sounds like a very complicated attempt to blow smoke at you and put you down, but I didn't.
What is choose letter doing? Because choose letter has m dot select letter, and that is a function.
That is a function. Yes, because, and we are not, this is not a computed value that we're doing here. This is one of these one-way trips back to the model. It goes back to the model and says select this.
Is
And
it not returning m dot select letter?
no, it's not.
So you can't put return in front of that?
I could, I would break it. Let me make sure it's unbroken now. This is just a test run. And then we can experiment with these things and find out exactly what Xcode wants us to believe about it. The letters still work. The enter still works. Okay, now let's break it. Oops, I didn't mean to close the simulator. I didn't mean it. Okay, good. The motion on the floor. Oh, first of all, let me put my money where my mouth is. I claim that you do not have to put a return statement there because the entire body of this closure, aka an unnamed function that's computing the value of model's letter values, the entire body of that one line is calculating what the value of that variable is. And that didn't break it to leave off the return. I wish it did. I wish they would put it back because for old people, that's much less confusing. It's much more clear and explicit that what we're doing is actually returning the value in this closure. Now, the Catco conjecture is that, well, we should be able to say return here, right? The problem is, this function is not set up to return anything. That's going to be a syntax error, or so I claim.
It works for mine.
It does?
For all of mine.
Let's see. Well, maybe I misspoke.
What would it return?
And to whom? What is that? That's choose letter?
Cause I didn't have it on mine and it works, but it works with the other one.
I had it on all of mine the whole time.
None of these functions return anything. I mean, I guess maybe it's just marking the end.
Well, now I'm confused
I would assume
because
it's working like a void function in C where it just would cut off anything after.
return select letter, but select letter I don't believe is returning anything.
No.
like I said, I have returns for all of my functions that are passing through, and it's working.
Do they actually return any value though?
I just removed the return and it works the same.
Let me drill down. I'll use these pet phrases that I hate. Under the umbrella, we have to have that conversation. We've got to drill down. I hear those in faculty meetings all the time. Whoops, and that goes on the video. No, I wasn't talking about Chancey faculty. I was talking about faculty at every other school I've ever been at. What was it I was going to try? Oh, this is a function, but it doesn't return anything because the return value would go up here. That's what I wanted to illustrate here. This is a function. This doesn't return anything. And we were going to alert the model back in the day, weren't we? M dot, enter key was tapped. User, I'm using different function names, even though I could use the same ones, but that would be even more confusing. User tapped enter. I haven't used that, have I? Okay, once we get our, yeah, I know it doesn't. Once we get our tracer bullet, which is a one shot all the way through, and make sure that works, then we can go back and try some of these what ifs and hypothetical cases. And oh my goodness, the model is getting complicated. Register the letter. This is inside the model itself. There's an it. That's a function. You're right. All the functions we've looked at so far don't return anything officially. So, take care of a tapped enter key. And most of this will be for future reference when I come back to this. But for now, I want to make sure that we can acknowledge it. Whoops. I'll going to get inappropriate if I'm not careful. Did tap enter? Is that what we did? And I'll just do a print. And there's not even anybody to pass this to. This is the model. This is the bottom of the heap. Did tap enter, right? Is that what it was? User tapped enter. You're right. Well, the AI messed up. Is that right? User tapped enter. Where am I not in the model? Am I not? I think I'm inside that function. Dinky little function. It's going to have some work to do in a second. Okay, so we got it in the view, passed it through the model, the view model, and it ended up in the model. So that part is done. The motion on the floor is to do a real function finally. All this time through the semester, we haven't really done a real function. The enter key, I'm going to alter this. Struct enter key. How am I going to alter this? It is a view. It's got to be a view. I'm going to make it return the return value of a function. Make enter key body. Boudet. Oh no, we don't have a make enter key body. Let's make a function. Let me get this out of the way and just start scratch because the stuff I already have might be more in the way than anything else. So this is going to be a function, but you don't specify the return type out front. Look at what he's doing. Look at that tab. Is this correct? I do need a function name, make enter key body, and it does need to return some view. Here's what was missing that I was looking for in all the functions we have so far. This arrow, this homemade constructed arrow of a minus sign and a greater than sign. That is how you specify the return type, so that the compiler knows what to look for in your return statement. So now we are bound and determined and have to return a view. I'm going to, I'll claim it's in the interest of time, but it might be actually taking up more time. I'm going to get that Z-stack that already seemed to be working well enough, that thing, Command exit, and just stuff it in here. Command V. Well, got rid of that. What's wrong?
You need a body.
We do. Everybody need a body. Body, body. So, now we've satisfied that part. Now I think I can return and call the function to actually make the enter key body. But I'm not going to do it more than once. Be gone, all of you be gone. Expected declaration. Oh. Okay, so I took something that was working and made it more complicated. Isn't that always fun? But this was because I don't think we had any functions that actually officially returned a value before. All of the functions were unnamed functions, also known as closures, a special case of a function. And they were all either responding to on-tap gesture, those are closures as well, or they were computing the value of a variable. The return statement's supposed to be when you are actually either returning a computed value for a computed variable, or you're returning whatever you promised you would return from a function. And this is returning, not very far it's returning it, but here's the function call right here. And we're throwing back to it this view that we were already making correctly, and I hope I didn't break it. But now, when the enter key is called upon to make itself, to show up on the screen, instead of making it right here, and of course we could have left it right here. This could have been the Z-stack and all that stuff. But instead of doing that, I call the function to make the body, and it returns some view. And the some view that it's returning is this elaborate thing that it's a Z-stack with the frame and all the other stuff. Most of that explanation was focused on you, Ms. Katko, believe it or not. I was trying to do what I could to explain my understanding of the difference. You're always going to have to put everything I say sort of in a lobby or a temporary consideration area first, because I don't know this stuff.
So why does it work the same when I do return versus take it off?
You know, I don't know. And I thought that it was going to give us a syntax error when we tried to do return from something that wasn't a function.
Because I've had all my functions doing returns, and then
And
I
I-
ran it, and then I just took the return off, and it does the same.
I am not telling you that you have to do it one way or the other. I honestly am not. And it makes it sound like I'm issuing decrees or something. I am not. I am trying to explain things to the best of my own understanding, which is feeble. You don't need most of these. I don't need this return right here. Why not? Because the entire body of that computed variable body is doing nothing but computing the return value. Watch this. Now, how did I figure that out? Here's how I figured this out. Print. Who are we now? We are the view. We are the view. Making, we're not going to yell it. We're not angry. Not yet. Making an enter key. Yes, thank you. I bet it will complain now. I expect it will. This cannot conform to view. So it's complaining about my print statement. Do you remember way, way, way back? There was a problem, and I couldn't figure out what the hey was wrong. what the hey that was wrong was now all of a sudden the entire body of this closure unnamed function, I'm going to quit calling it that, the entire body of this closure used to do nothing but compute the value of variable body. Now it does something in addition to that. It prints a message, or it's trying to, in addition to computing the value of variable body. Does anybody remember the fix that served as a mental crutch for poor old feeble-minded Dr. E for the rest of the semester so far? Return. Go away. Huh? Well, those sorts of experiments, though, I honestly think the more time I spend trying to root out and eradicate a horrible, nasty, unintuitive bug, the more likely I am to remember it. I don't think I would have remembered this if I hadn't spent, I don't even know how many trial and errors.
Use some extra curly brackets if you scroll down.
Oh, I do. Thank you. Wow. You guys like got superpowers. You can see things that are not even on the screen. Now, I forgot what we're watching for here. Oh, I want to see a message that says we're making, and there it is. The view says we're making an enter key. But, okay, now I'm saying this, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. I'm saying this as much for my benefit as for yours. I forgot what I was going to say. But, it not only is it printing this, but it also is doing its main job, which is to compute the value of variable body. But here the return statement is not optional. And I can't believe, I don't even accept that that's what I was going to say about this. But does anybody have any comments or questions or what ifs? Weren't there other hypotheticals we were going to check on the enter key itself or not? Was it just to return or not to return or not to return?
I think it does still work if you do the on-tap gesture in the structure instead of where you call. I think it can work both ways.
Really?
Yeah, because I just looked at mine and I did mine in the structure, not where I called it.
In the enter key structure?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you did it somewhere in the keyboard?
Like literally back in the file where you just were.
Oh, okay. And it was tapping on what?
Just the on-tap gesture and then it does what it needs to do in there. Opposed to the first.
Well, you had to put it on something. There are all kinds of things floating around in here. That's okay. I have a sneaking suspicion we're not going to get very far with the enter key today. But we've got one. It shows up, and it does return something. What else does it need to do? Yikes, all kind of stuff. All the remaining stuff it needs to do is in the model, right? This little function needs to get a lot bigger. Who has a question up to this point? This was the end point of what we've done so far, right? What's supposed to happen? I printed it out. I've got a picture. But you can hurry up and tell me before I find my picture, certainly. Oh, huh?
What's supposed to happen with the enter key?
Yeah, when we tapped the enter key, we did all that analysis and wrote it on the board, and I took a picture of it.
Oh, it either the rows, it checks if the rows full or not. And if
Okay.
it's not full, then it doesn't do anything. If it is full, then you go to the next one. Or then you have to check whether the file works.
If what? Row is full?
Yeah.
Well, no. I don't want all that. Thank you, AI, but no thanks. I like it that the AI even put my model colon out there. It's learning from me. finish this one, model. No, AI. So not adding it to guesses, but that's not really it.
Know your capitalization of the not.
Row is not full. Can't go to next row. And if it is full, we do go to the next row, right? We're not adding it to guesses. I didn't mean to leave that in there. I'm slipping it in here. I'm doing a no-no. I'm being a naughty bottom-up developer. What am I doing here?
Do top down.
I'm doing top-down and calling functions that don't exist so I can map out the logic. Dun, dun, dun. What would it be? I mean, we'll have to invent a name. What's the amalgam? What's a hybrid between top-down and
Sideways.
sideways? We're doing sideways development. From the middle out. Okay, row is full. Let me at least get stub functions here. Look, is that correct? Should it return Boolean? Yes. And I'm going to return true until further notice, because this is stub function. It's just so, what is it? Such a relief to use top-down again, where you get to use stub functions and call functions that don't exist. And next row, same way. Next row, bless your heart, you don't have to do anything, but you have to be a function. These are not computed variables. Now, actually, that probably does merit a little more conversation and distinction between the vars that we were computing and the functions that we were computing. Functions are like sticking our toe in procedural programming, where we actually have steps and things that we need to get done. The computed variables values, those are functions, but the entire purpose of the function is just to compute a value for that variable. These are not doing that. This is not computing a value for any variable. This is not computing the value for any variable. This is actually going to have to be what kind of a func? Those of you that have looked at mutating, a mutator func. Let me see if I broke it. Yes, do you have a question or suggestion? Build failed.
You can also, I was calling functions meta functions for a little bit, not anymore in my thing, but you can also make them private functions if you're only calling them from other features in the model. Like you can say they're a private function. I don't know if it really changes anything, but it kind of keeps it straight where you're calling it from.
Okay. Hold that note, and we will experiment with those as well, making things private and see if it can protect stuff. This is going to take a little more work, so much for top-down, throwing up, I know how I can fix it, at least for now. It's not going to do anything more than it did. It's just printing messages. But we'll declare victory and retreat. Current row is full, so go into the next rows. That's not true. I am going to finish a little more of the functionality of the enter key in an out-of-class video, and I'll send you a link to the video. And we will pick up with this after the deliverable 1 demos. I will use my handy-dandy random number generator again and randomly list the people in the order that you will present to the class. It doesn't have to be any big presentation. It doesn't even have to be your whole. It should be through increment 8. Try to get increment 8 done, and you should be able to do that after I finish the follow-up video to this. This doesn't all have to go on video, so I'm going to yell, cut!